Diana is a mare in Skyblock that gives 3 perks: additional pet luck, bonus pet XP, and the only one that people actually really care about, the mythological ritual. Early game Diana might be the most painful thing you will experience on Ironman, other than being outbid at the dark auction. You'll have to get a tool called the Ancestral Spade, and you could buy it directly from Diana for 5,000 coins. Half of what makes early game Diana so painful is the insane mana cost of the Ancestral Spade. At this point in the game, 100 mana will likely be your entire mana bar. The other half of the pain equation is that you will likely be horribly slow moving around the hub. Honestly, you probably shouldn't even start digging up Griffin burrows until you have either a grappling hook, aspect to the end, or god paw with cookie buff. You will also need a decent melee set to kill some of the mobs that come out of the burrows. You could buy a common Griffin pet from Diana for 25k coins, and this is the pet that you'll be using to progress. You should only start digging up burrows with a mobility item and glacier armor with a Raider's Axe. As you're going along the burrows, you get coins, Griffin feathers, and ancient claws. And these items can be used to upgrade your Griffin as well as your Beastmaster crest. The first upgrade you want to aim for is the Uncommon Griffin. This pet is absolutely amazing early game as it gives fantastic stats as well as regen 5 and strength 7. To get the Uncommon Griffin, you will need 32 ancient claws, 8 Griffin feathers, 48 enchanted gold, and a base Griffin upgrade stone, which is 8 Griffin feathers, 16 enchanted gold, and 8 enchanted cobblestone. You could either get the gold from minions or mine it in the Royal Mines gold deposits, and you could easily get the cobblestone manually. The feathers and claws come from the actual Griffin burrows and mythological creatures. Once you have Uncommon Griffin, you could either remain in your glacier armor with the Raider's Axe, or you could upgrade it to dragon armor. You could also grab the Uncommon Beastmaster crest for cheap. It's just 40 ancient claws, 4 Griffin feathers, and 1 milk. Once you have Uncommon Griffin, some stronger mobs start coming out. You could still use Glaciate with this rarity though. Next thing you'll want to do is upgrade the rarity of your Griffin from uncommon to rare. This upgrade is much more expensive as it costs 16 Griffin feathers, a stack of ancient claws, and 4 enchanted gold blocks, as well as the base upgrade stone. This is the rarity where gold starts to get pretty annoying. You could either use minions or mine this gold up. And once you have the rare Griffin, you should probably grab some dragon armor. If you're still using Glaciate, you'll find yourself taking considerable damage from some of the mythological creatures. A good Raider's Axe will still work on these mobs, but you're going to want to upgrade it soon. At this point, you should either have a Raider's Axe or anything better, dragon armor, and an aspect to the end. Next, you should grab the Uncommon Beastmaster crest, which is 80 ancient claws, 8 Griffin feathers, and the common one. Optionally, you could go for the rare Beastmaster crest, which is 32 Griffin feathers and 256 ancient claws. The next upgrade you want to aim for is the Epic Griffin. This takes 4 enchanted ancient claws, 64 Griffin feathers, 12 enchanted blocks of gold, and a base Griffin upgrade stone. Once again, you can get the gold from either minions or mining it up in the Royal Mines. You could also use the Mines of Devon if you want. You'll also need some better gear to take down these mobs. The Minos champion at Epic Griffin rarity has 2 million HP, so you should probably upgrade your Raider's Axe to something better. The list of better things is very long, but I'll give a brief summary on what you want. The aspect of the dragons, Livid Dagger, Shadow Fury, Hyper Cleaver, Pooch Sword with Mastiff, and Phantom Rod. And if you're gonna go mage, then either use Aurora Staff or Midas Staff. Spirit Scepter doesn't do very good single hit damage. For armor, you'll be able to squeak by with dragon armor, but you should either consider Mastiff with Pooch, Shadow Assassin, or Necromancer Lord. You should also have good magical power for extra damage. And also at this point, you should definitely get the rare Beastmaster crest. The next and final Griffin upgrade to make is Epic to Legendary. This upgrade is very expensive. You need 2 stacks of enchanted gold blocks, 2 stacks of Griffin feathers, and 16 ancient claws. The gold is absurd and it takes a very long time to mine, so I definitely don't blame you if you use minions. The 128 Griffin feathers are annoying, but definitely not as annoying as the 16 enchanted ancient claws. The claws take much longer. By the time you have all your ancient claws, you will definitely have more than 2 stacks of Griffin feathers. The actual gear you need to take down these mobs is very annoying. For mage, you either need a 100 mil Midas staff or a Hyperion. For melee weapons, you need either a Shadow Fury or Giant Sword. For armor, when I tried in Shadow Assassin, I died to the Minos champion, so you probably want to grab some Wither armor. Obviously Storm for mage and Necron for melee. Also, a Reaper mask is great for not dying as it doubles your healing. And speaking of healing, you should have good healing items such as a zombie sword and a decent healing wand. And the better these items are, the better the Reaper mask will be. Notice how I didn't mention Sword of Revelations? Yeah, it sucks. Don't get me wrong, you will do decent damage if you put a wood singularity on it and max it out, but you will take absurd amounts of damage. Not to mention how expensive it is. Once you get a setup good enough to kill legendary Griffin mobs, consider getting some Magic Find. You could enrich your legendary and mythic accessories with Magic Find, and if you want, you could put a lucky clover on your Griffin. If your setup is really good, you could use Sara armor. As you go along digging burrows, you'll get rare drops from the mythological creatures. The more common ones are Crochet Tiger plushie, which is very good for archers, Antique Remedies, Dwarf Turtle Shellmet, which is probably the most useful pet item in the game, and Washed Up Souvenir. Some of the more rare drops include Minos Relic and Daedalus Sticks. Once you get 2 Daedalus Sticks, you should immediately get the Daedalus Axe. This will be your best weapon against the mythological creatures, besides Hyperion. This weapon's perk of copying the stats from your active pet will also give you additional Magic Find. The last thing that you haven't finished with Diana at this point is the Beastmaster Crest. The epic Beastmaster Crest costs 4 enchanted ancient claws and 2 stacks of Griffin feathers. And finally, the legendary Beastmaster Crest costs 4 stacks of Griffin feathers and 32 enchanted ancient claws. And to max out the perk of this accessory, you'll need to kill 10,000 mythological creatures. Now there is one thing that I haven't talked about. Chimera. This is the best enchant in the game. To get it, you'll have to kill the 40 million HP Inquisitors. Honestly, you should probably put your first Chimera books on your Daedalus Axe for the additional Magic Find, because the more Magic Find you get, the more Chimera books you can get. Anyway, that's all I have for today, and thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace!